Hello, it's 9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English New Edition. For tonight headlines, we have the agreement on the training of civil aviation personnel between Djibouti and France. For the international scene, meeting on Thursday initiated by Algeria and Niger. Welcome to our newsroom. Congratulatory message from the British Secretary of State to the President of the Republic. The British Secretary of State for Foreign Affairs in charge of Commonwealth and Development, His Excellency Dominic Raab, sent a congratulatory message to the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, following his re-election to the Djibouti Supreme Magistracy. Please receive my warm congratulations and my wishes for success in the conduct of your country's affairs, wrote the member of the British government, which stated the determination of his country to work toward strengthening relations of friendship and cooperation between the two nations. We are willing to increase our level of exchange and consultation with the Republic of Djibouti, as our two countries share many common interests and strategic concerns. He continued. Economic cooperation, regional stabilization, the fight against transcontinental issues such as global warming and the pandemic of COVID-19 are among others. Major challenges around which our two countries are expected to intensify their collaboration, said Mr. Dominic Raab, expressing the hope that President Guelleh continues to use his influence and reputation in the areas mentioned above. The president of the Port and Free Zone Authority, Abubakar Umar Hadi, took part in a conference of the African Ports Forum, a platform for debate accompanying African ports in their development, organized in partnership with Tanje Med, Djibouti Ports and Free Zone Authority, the Southern Africa Transport Policy Program, and ProParco. The APF is a platform for debate and discussions on the development of the African ports. The conference, entitled Ports Policy, Where is Africa Going?, was held on the internet or Zoom with a maximum capacity of 150,000 people in virtual broadcasting. Among them were experts and senior executives of the port sectors, including Mr. Dominique Lafont, CEO of the Lafont Africa Corp, and Mr. Patrice Melon, Director General of the Autonomous Port of Krabi, and Mr. Yann Alix, Secretary General of the Sefa Thil Foundation, and Mr. Mehdi Tazi Rifi, Director General of the Tanje Med Port Authority. At the opening of the meeting, the moderator of the seminar congratulated the president of the Authority of Port and Free Zone, Abubakar Umar Hadi, because according to recent studies by the World Bank, Djibouti's ports have been ranked at the top of the African ports in terms of services and quality. A convention agreement was signed today between France and Djibouti. It concerns a program of assistance and training for Djiboutian civil aviation personnel in order to improve the quality of services and the fluidity of traffic at the logistical and cargo level. It is especially to reach an acceptable level of competitiveness and respecting the international standards. This agreement was signed on the French side by the French ambassador accredited to Djibouti, His Excellency Arnaud Guillois, and on the Djiboutian side by the Director General of the Civil Aviation, Mr. Daoud Abdou. It must be said that air transport is as important as the Djibouti port area. For his part, the Director General of Civil Aviation, Mr. Daoud Abdou, said in a speech that it is important to emphasize that this training is the form of technical assistance will attract the agencies of the different international and even world civil aviations in order for Djibouti to become a meeting hub at the level of the traffickers. Also, a signing ceremony of convention for the twinning of the city of Djibouti and the city of Ufa, which is the capital of the Bashkiria in the Russian Federation, took place this morning at Djibouti Palace Kempinski between the mayor of Djibouti city, Ms. Fatuma Awale Usman, and the head of the administrations of the city of Ufa, Mr. Sergei. The objective is to make the twinning between the two cities, namely Djibouti and Ufa of Russia, which have in common the culture and religion. The ceremony was attended by the Russian ambassador to Djibouti, Mr. Mikhail Golovanov, the president of the municipality of Rasdika, Ibrahim Said Ibrahim Badullah, and the president of the municipality of Balbala, Idris Bashir, and the first deputy of the mayor of Djibouti, Mr. Utban Hamad Mohammed. For her part, the mayor of Djibouti city, Fatuma Awale Usman, in her speech announced that the twinning of the city of Djibouti and the city of Ufa will generate a lot of opportunities to be offered in the two parties, in particular in the field urban improvement, trade, tourism, and industry, culture, education, youth policy, and sports, but also exchange of experiences, work, and information, and then in other areas in the resolutions of issues of local importance. The mayor also mentioned that our twinning is not only a political contract between two cities, but it is a file of actions and experiences that require the participation of all elected officials and inhabitants, and that the city of Djibouti is ready today to take up this challenge with the city of Ufa. As part of cooperation between Djibouti and Japan, our country has received funding for the acquisitions of a second ferry, and this is to improve the national cabotage and thus to better open up the northern region. According to the Director of Maritime Affairs of the Ministry of Transport, Mr. Ali Mirah Dawood, the ferry under construction was launched after the building whose hull and deck are fully completed. The superstructures and facilities will continue to float. Still, according to the Director of Maritime Affairs, the construction schedule is respected despite the vagaries of the COVID-19 pandemic. The launching of the second semester of capacity building trainings for the CDC executive, the Secretary General of the Secretary of State for Youth and Sports, Ms. Khadija Ibrahim Idris, proceeded yesterday afternoon to the launching of the second semesters of the capacity building trainings of the CDC executive. The Secretary General was able to know the good progress of the programs and especially the punctuality and discipline shown by the beneficiaries were present beside the Secretary General, the Director of INAP, Mr. Sharmake Idris, the Director of CDC, Ms. Ruqya Hassan, and several other members of INAP. During the night of May 17 to 18, 2021, based on information gathered, the police of the Dakhil detachment, supported by the elements of the force intervention companies, arrested 3 individuals in possession of a large quantity of marijuana, consisting of 15 bundles of and worth a total of 1 million Djibouti franc. These merchandise were destined to retail sale at Pika 12 and Dorale. The investigation is ongoing, and the individuals involved in this case will be brought to justice within the next few hours. For the international scene, the UN General Assembly will hold a meeting on Thursday initiated by Algeria and Niger to discuss the situation in Palestine, where Israeli bombing have killed some 200 people, including at least 58 children. Algerian ambassador to the UN, Sofiane Mimouni, chairman of the Arab group for the month of May, and the representative of Niger's Abdou Abari, whose country holds the presidency of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, have jointly submitted a letter to the President of the UN General Assembly, Volkan Bozkir, requesting the convening of a meeting on Palestine before the end of the current week. The meeting of the General Assembly comes in the faces of the paralysis of the Security Council, which is unable to decide on the serious situations prevailing in Gaza and the occupied Palestinian territories and the repressions faced by the Palestinians. And to close up this edition, we have sports where Karim Benzema is back in the French soccer team. The Real Madrid strikers has been to participate in the next Euro. The coach Didier Deschamps created the surprises this Tuesday by calling the 33-year-old French forward. He had not worn the Blues jersey since October 2015. Deschamps explained that he passed over his personal case about Benzema and to privilege the sporting interest. The objective for the French coach is obviously to win the Euro after winning the World Cup in 2018. This is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.